Hi guys, welcome to another Divi Theme video. This is Jamie from System22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. Well, we got a bit of fun for you today. We've got a really eye-catching button effect on our call to action modules here. As you can see, they're changing from red to blue. I've got it over about 10 seconds, so there's a bit of a color change in between the red and the blue there. And that's going to get people's attention really quickly. Really easy to do, so let's get started. Let's enable the visual builder. Okay, I'm going to go down and I'm going to delete this row and we'll start from scratch. I'm going to add a new row. I'm going to throw 3 columns in my row. I'm going to use a Divi call to action module. Okay, obviously, put what you want in there as your title. Put what you want in here for your button to say. You may have noticed there's no button there. That'll show up when we put the link in down below. And obviously, here's where you put your content in. It's a WYSIWYG text editor, so you can bold, italicize, make bullet lists, turn things into headings, add media if you want to. I'm going to leave mine just as it is on the default there. Okay, down in the link below, as soon as you put a link in for the button wherever you want to take your people, the button's going to show up. And you can put another link in here, which will link anywhere else you click on the module. You can use the same link or a different link. Always best practice, if you're linking to your own site, keep it in the same window. If you're linking off-site, open it in a new tab. That way your site will stay open. Okay, while we're here, I'm going to turn it to the generic blue background there. Obviously, that's entirely up to you. Okay, well, let's get this button color changed. To do that, we need to go over to the Advanced to Custom CSS. Now, a few months ago, they incorporated the Freeform CSS tab here, which means we can do a bit more complex CSS down here, which is absolutely fantastic, so we don't have to use a code module or the additional CSS panel. Now, I just want to affect the button itself, not the whole module. So if we look at the module elements here, roll down, here's the promo button. If you hit the little question mark, it'll tell you what the class name is, ETPB promo button. There's a bunch of other ones there, but we really just need the button itself. The other way, of course, would be to get out of the editor and inspect the button by right-clicking. So I'm going to copy that, and we'll go back up to the Freeform CSS tab. Now, to affect this particular module, all I have to write is selector. And that's going to select this whole call to action module there. But as I mentioned earlier, I just want to get the button. So after selector, I'm going to put a gap. I'm going to paste in that class name right there. Now I'm going to open and close some curly brackets. In between, we can tell it what we want it to do. Well, I'm going to create an animation for this today that's going to turn that button from red to blue or whatever colors you want yours to be. So I'm going to say animation, colon, then we need to give it a name. So I'm going to call mine BCOL for, it's kind of my shorthand for button color. You can call yours what you want. It needs to be unique though. I want mine to run for quite a long time. Well, let's start off at 5 seconds and I'm going to increment it up to 10 seconds. And I want it to keep rolling and rolling, so I want it infinite. Great. Now we've done that, we need to create that animation that we call BCOL there. So let's drop down after this curly bracket there. We're using keyframes for this. If you've seen my other CSS videos, you'll know that keyframes are a bit like stop frame animation. With video, you've got a timeline of 5 seconds up there, and you can make different things happen along that timeline. So I'm going to say at keyframes. Then we need to give it the name that we gave it, which is BCOL. Then we can open and close some more curly brackets and tell it what we want it to do during that 5 seconds. Well, at 0%, I want it to have a blue background. I'm going to just use a regular web blue, so it'll be slightly different from that blue that's right there. So I'm going to say 0%, open and close some more curly brackets. And in between, I'm going to tell it that I want a background, colon, just blue. And that should actually change the button color straight away. And it has. It's slightly different from that blue that's there, as you can see. Now you can use an RGBA, you can use a web color, you can use hex, whatever works for you. Okay, I'm now going to copy that from the 0% to that curly bracket on the end there, Control C to copy. I'm going to drop down one, I'm going to paste it back in there. I'm going to put a 5 in front, so we're at 50%. And that will be the 2.5 mark of our 5 seconds up there. I'm going to change it to red. I'm only using 2 colors here, but you can use as many as you want. And you may have noticed it started to pulse from blue to red, and it's going back to the default, blue to red, back to the default over 5 seconds. So I'm going to copy the first one again, that's blue, and I'm going to have it go back to blue at the end of the 5 seconds. So I'm going to drop down one more. I'm going to paste that in there. I'm going to turn that from 0% to 100%. And now we've got it rolling from blue to red and back to blue again. Fantastic. Now, if you want it quicker, you can make that a smaller value. I wouldn't make it too small. It'll probably send people into a fit or something like that. Have it 3 seconds. If you want to slow it down, I'm going to slow mine down to about 10 seconds. We make it nice and graceful. Like I say, you see sort of purples in between the blue and the red there, which is kind of nice. That's great. Don't think I really want that border around that button. So let's get rid of that. I'm going to go into my design, go down to the button, use custom styles for the button. I'm going to roll on down. By default, it gives it a 2 pixel border there. I'm just going to increment down to that 0 and that'll get rid of that border. Fantastic. What if we leave it just like that? It's just going to roll around, roll around. When they hover over it, it's going to still change color. You may want to actually stop that animation when they hover over it. And if you do, that's very easy. If we go back to our custom CSS here, I can copy our top bit right here. Control C to copy. I'll drop down from my last curly bracket, paste it in there. Right after the N of button there, with no gap, I'm going to put a colon and the word hover. No gap after the colon and before the word hover either. And I'm going to say animation. I'm going to change it to none. That way, when they hover over it, that animation is going to stop. Just like that. Perfect. And if you wanted to give it a color there, perhaps background blue, you could put that in. I'll just copy the background blue without the curly brackets there. Always want to make sure you've got a semicolon on the end of each line of code there, or it won't read the next one. It's okay to leave it off the last one. I like to put one on anyway, just to keep in the habit of it. Now, when we hover over it, it should stop and turn to that blue color. Perfect. And that's a really eye-catching little button. I mean, you can affect anything on here. You can affect the actual background of the module itself. If I took the actual button class away, watch what happens. It's color changing the whole background of that module there. So this freeform CSS tab is really great. I'm going to put that bit of code back in there. So we're just doing the button. Fantastic. And of course, once you've got it on there once, very easy to duplicate. Just save your changes there. Hit the little duplicate module button there. Drag one of them across, doesn't matter which one. They're both identical. Change out your content if you need to. Do the same thing. And we've got 3 in a row there. Now they're kind of out of sync there. Well, that's fine. But when we actually save, they will all be in sync. Now, for anybody that wants them to be out of sync, you can simply go into each one. Go into your custom CSS once more and slightly change the timing. Make one 8 seconds or one 12 seconds or whatever. If you change the timing, they'll be out of sync. But I like them to be all in sync for this particular case. So I'm just going to save my changes by hitting the little purple button. Save draft or publish if you're ready. Let's exit the Visual Builder. And as you can see, those buttons are changing color in sync now. And that sort of thing is going to get people's attention. It's going to get eyeballs on it as soon as it starts changing like that. Your eyes are going to notice it. So it's a great thing, especially for call to actions like this. And when we hover over, of course, it's going to stop and stay blue. fantastic. So there you go, guys. There's how to create a color changing button with the Divi theme and a call to action module. Like I say, that freeform CSS tab is a fantastic thing to use. So I hope you've enjoyed this today and found it useful. I'll put that code down below for anybody that wants to copy and paste it, but it's a great idea to get in the habit of writing your CSS code yourself. It really will take your editing skills to the next level, and it's really not difficult. Let's just refresh this page so those go back in sync again. So once again, this has been Jamie from System22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.